Hi, everybody. This is Dan Stolbarger. Welcome to this week's Middle East update. It's August 7th, and we're going to look back on this week and the events that have transpired. We usually start with our news bites, and I'm going to remind you to make sure that you grab the PDF PowerPoint because it's photos. There's always more in the PowerPoint that I have time for with the YouTube. So check that out. But our news bites this week, we begin with Hamas senior official Ghazi Hamad. Once again, Hamas wants to take absolute credit and points to the October 7th massacre as the reason why European countries like France and Britain and Germany are now taking steps to recognize a Palestinian state. So if that happens, remember what took place on October 7th will be a reward if they're given a Palestinian state. Now, France's president has already drawn the ire of Israelis, but once again he comes under fire because he compares Israel hostages, those that are in terror tunnels, he compares them to jailed Arab terrorists in Israel with blood in their hands. Okay? Guilty as charged versus what? Innocent victims, hostages. The two are not the same. Netanyahu, I held off as long as I could today, but it's reported that Israel will begin a full military occupation of Gaza. He spoke to Fox News, quote, "We intend to militarily take control of the entire Gaza Strip. We will free the civilian population." He goes on to say it's not our goal to take it over forever, but this is our only option at this particular time. So we're going to wait and see all those details. The cabinet is probably meeting now to make those final decisions. Keep this in mind, that Hamas has one goal. Its primary goal is simply to survive, to remain in power after the war so that it can continue to do what? Continue its jihad. It's holy war. It's in their charter. They exist to destroy and annihilate Israel. And finally, shocking statistics, but not so much head scratching because we can see the handwriting on the wall with the rise of anti-Semitism and how it's been so dramatic. But 70% of religious-based hate crimes in the United States throughout 2024 and now into 2025 were directed at the Jews. 70%. That's our news bites for this week. Again, no doubt you have seen some of the photos that have been released of the hostages. They're horrific. In two separate videos that were released by Hamas and by the Islamic Jihad, the hostages Ram and Aitar appear gaunt, broken, visibly immense. They're emaciated. It's pictures of Nazi Germany death camps, right? Ram's quote, we hear him in the video saying, "I've run out of food and water. If before they gave me a little bit, now I have nothing. Today I had 3 falafel crumbs." 3 crumbs. And in the second video where we see David starved, I've got pictures here, that's why I grabbed that PDF PowerPoint, and he's seen digging what appears to be his own grave. These scenes are horrific, but they have to be seen. They should have dominated the headlines worldwide, but unfortunately, these guys that have been held over 666 days, their skeleton forms should shock the world, but instead, the media largely has ignored these videos, buried them in coverage, and in place of that, we get the Pollywood, the fake news of starving Palestinian children. And once it's determined, wait, that's not quite true, it's buried somewhere in columns in the apology section saying we were misinformed. Washington Post, New York Times, etc. Unbelievable. And then again, the fate of the hostages. You have to see the pictures. This is David, and this is his words, probably the grave that I think I'm going to be buried in. His brother says, anyone who sees these images without heartbreak, without deep sorrow, and a will to do everything to get them out, have no compassion, no humanity. Look at his face, the unimaginable pain that's there. And then he quotes the Torah. He says, the Torah says, do not stand by idly by the blood of your neighbor. Anyone who thinks they can go on with life, that are concerned only with themselves, while our hostages, our brothers, are suffering in horrific captivity for over 666 days. I cannot accept that. If we forget our brothers, we've already lost. Again, bring them home now. Pray for the release of the hostages, that the prison doors would be thrown open. And then some photos. We have side by side, we have Jewish hostages that are in the terror tunnels, and on the other side we have their captors, Hamas, feasting. Regarding the takeover of Gaza, the Israeli Security Cabinet, as I mentioned, is meeting at this time. Last night, the Hebrew media published several details of the proposed plan, which calls for a large-scale military takeover operation that would involve 5 different IDF divisions into the Gaza Strip, beginning with Gaza City, the takeover, and then central camps. Israel estimates that this operation of the complete takeover will be anywhere up to 5 months. There's another article here from anybody that's familiar with the blockbuster Netflix program Fauda, filmed in Israel, obviously, by Israelis. One of the actors there, Idan, Amedi, he served in the IDF as a reserve. He was almost mortally injured, but survived. And again, with these leftists that have sort of come out and saying genocide, we need to cave, we need to give in. His quote is to his Israeli leftist brothers. He's saying, you're disconnected and you're spreading fake news. He wrote in a post on his social media page, every home, remember, he served in the military, ground forces, IDF. He writes, every home in Gaza is filled with anti-Semitic, anti-Jewish propaganda, from images of shaheeds to stickers saying, with blood and fire, we will reach Jerusalem. A group of privileged people who echo stupidity and ignorance and all lies. You need to understand they hate us. and they live and they survive to kill us. Hamas must be destroyed. And then I've given you some photos. Take a look at. This is the son of Hamas, the Green Prince, Mosab, Hassan, Yosef. October 7th, his quote, didn't happen because Palestinians were denied a state. October 7th happened because they were given a state. 56% of Israelis are very concerned about leaving their country and traveling abroad because of the anti-Israel climate worldwide, 56%. Many, we've talked about this before, when we first started going to Israel, I was sort of shocked to find that the majority of Israelis are secular, they're not religious in any way, but kind of reports from the hostages that have been released, we're seeing a movement. In Ezekiel 36, we're told about the dry bones coming back to life again, but the one thing that's missing is the Spirit of God. And we're seeing Israelis turning to God at this time. Quotes from the hostages, Shabbat kept me. Many of the hostages and their families are turning to faith. And again, let's keep praying that the eyes of our Jewish brothers and sisters would be open to see and to receive Yeshua, Jesus, as their Messiah. And then again, one of the depictions, artistic renderings in the Jerusalem Post of Hamas and one of the captives. Sad note, blessed be his memory, may his memory never be forgotten, but Arial Bibas was supposed to celebrate his 6th birthday this week. But as you know, the terrorists from Gaza killed both him, his brother, and his mother, the Bibas family. So that's our report for this week. God bless you, and continue to pray. We'll be heading off to Israel in the fall, and looking forward for that trip. And we're sold out at this time, but we are going to be with our friends Ministry to Israel, and we'll give you more information if you want to support that ministry in upcoming videos. So God bless you, and shalom.